Surrogate. What do you think about that?
Oh, that was weird. And I can understand why Theodore would be weirded out. It's like, that was a weird idea. But also, like, I could see how an iOS would want to, like, again, it's coming from a very curious perspective, like, what is it to be human? And so the natural progression would be, how can I emulate having a physical body so I can understand what that is? And so from an experimental side, I can so see why the iOS would do it. But from not understanding the psychological impact and damage to Theodore, who is not that way inclined, um, that would just be weird because it's like this is another person with another like cognitive ability that has another whole different thing inside that's just temporarily allowing another person's consciousness in them for the deed. That yeah, that weirded me out, but it was interesting. Weirded me out, and
But
also
in
weirded
terms of,
me out
again,
why she wanted to be that way. Like she wanted to be the conduit, which then made me ask questions. What's broken in her that she's questing to be a
oh,
conduit between
Samantha
iOS
convinced
and him?
her. Also, that's also
Yeah,
something we should know.
that's manipulation. There's a whole kind of toxic relationship there to unpack. That was a real
Yeah,
doozy of
but
a.
in terms of, again, a physical relation, just focusing on that, that would be again such a big opportunity for Theodore. Like, for
Yeah.
example, I was thinking, okay, how men would think in this way, like, okay, after this year, maybe we can now convince another one to do the same again and again,
Well,
to have
I
different,
was thinking,
because she was okay with that, it was
yeah,
nothing forced on her.
yeah, but I was thinking the other way. So I don't know. From what I've understood from friends who are on Tinder who chat too long with guys before they meet them, if you're talking to someone in the ether and you've never met them, I think subconsciously you create an image of them and an idea of what they would be like because you know that this person as of yet doesn't have a physical form. So it's like when you read a really good book and then they convert it to a movie, it's sometimes a bit of a letdown because in your head you've imagined these characters with completely different characteristics. So I was thinking that for Theodore, then he's concocted this image of what Samantha would be like if she were to have a physical body, and then you're confronted with this person who's going to be a conduit, and they look nothing like this idea you've concocted. That to me could be really off-putting. Like, do you know what I mean? Because you can't like you have to then imagine this person that you've concocted in your head while you're with this someone to get the same effect of being Samantha, and that's just a whole nother layer. I think maybe it would have worked had she introduced that earlier, but not this far in the relationship where he's probably got this vivid built idea of what Samantha would look like. But that was just what I was kind of thinking.
That's really a very interesting point you mentioned. I didn't even think about it because in that scene, all I think about, how can you turn down such an opportunity? Something like, I think like a man. But you're right. You're right. That's really what happened. Like, he's imagine Samantha like an ideal partner. Now suddenly, he sees that girl. She's gorgeous, but still,
She's not
she's
her.
not ideal.
Yeah, there's not this perfect image that he's created in his head. And that's something confronting to have to. And then that's another thing that he has to unpack it for himself. It's like, no one is perfect. So I think that in itself was a lesson of like, you can't imagine this perfect woman. No one's going to live up to that expectation or that image. And I think he has that realization later when he says that appreciation letter to his first ex. So yeah, that was a really interesting